Harry Douglas sitting in for Key this morning. What's going on? What's going on,
baby?
Harry? What you been up to?
Nothing much, man. Grinding. The grind never stops, Max.
That's it.
I love how I was like, so Harry, how's it feel to wake up early? He's like, man, I wake up at 4 o'clock every day anyway.
Every day, man.
I was like, okay.
So 4 o'clock, anyone who wakes up at 4 o'clock means you're working out.
4:30.
Means you're working out early in the morning, right?
No, I'm watching film. So I'm watching film. So I do it, man. With my kids,
for a coaching job?
While my kids and my wife, while they're asleep, I get a lot of stuff done before I got to take. So I take my daughter to school usually. So hopefully my wife has a good stunt taking my daughter to school today.
That's awesome to get up early and get all the stuff done. But what time do you go to bed?
12. 1.
See, let me tell you something. This is what's unfair, okay? Forget about being a world-class athlete. I know you work very hard and everything, but you also have to have a certain amount of athletic ability to play in the NFL. But the people, Jay, I think you are more normal this way. I'm talking about the people who only need 3-4 hours sleep a night and they're good. It's like a gift. It's like that's a gift. That's a gift.
It is, though. I will say when I'm off real quick, it is one thing when you wake up like at 4:35 and you're like, all right, you can ease into your day. You can watch tape or stuff. It is different when you come on air and you're live and you're like, hey, here are my thoughts and here are my opinions, and you're activating quicker. There's a slight difference to that.
Some people only need 3-4 hours sleep and they just wake up and they're good.
At least need,
I've been like that for a long time, though.
That's crazy. I know.
Long time.
I did a show with Marcellus Wiley. He was the same way. 4 hours. He's good. He wakes up. He's good. You live more life that way. All right. Anyway.
Alien. He's an alien. That's all.
Thursday night football, guys. Maybe it was like a prototypical Vikings game, right? You heard the end on KFAN. They run all over the Steelers in the first half. They take a 23-0 lead. The game is over, right? Steelers come back a little bit. Vikings out. Okay, it's over. And then the Steelers rallied and really had a chance at the end. And not just a chance. Big Ben threw a strike. Hit the receiver in the hands. It should have been caught.
Tight end. Should have been caught.
It should have been caught. I mean, anyway, the story of the game was that the Vikings were just pushing the Steelers around at the line of scrimmage. As much as football has changed, who's winning up front, right? So Mike Tomlin, who recall when he got the job, press conference. I fell in love with Mike Tomlin at this moment at his introductory press conference. Steelers run the ball, stop the run. Steelers football. I was like, this dude, right? It's got to kill him to see his guys getting dominated on the line of scrimmage. Both sides of the ball. Here is Coach.
Until we get better in that area, we're not good in that area. We were JV again tonight, and I'm talking about up front on both sides. We lost the battle in the line of scrimmages, and that's football. We make no excuse. It is what it is. We got to be better than we were. We'll turn over every stone to do that. We got a long week coming up between this and our next one. We'll make good use of that time and assess not only what we're doing, but who we're doing it with.
What do you think, Harry?
No lies detected. No lies detected. And one of the first things I tweeted last night, it was like 4:30 a.m., protection meeting. And then as I seen the offensive line of the Steelers keep getting dominated one-on-one, schematically and everything, I say, no, schedule change, 4 a.m. protection meeting. Right? But then you look at the flip side of it. You look at the Steelers defense. The holes that Dalvin Cook was running through.
Oof.
I mean, anybody could have ran through those holes last night. My daughter, my wife.
But when it's Dalvin Cook, when your grandmother can run through the hole, except it's Dalvin Cook running through the hole, it's a problem.
An excellent running back doing it.
Yeah.
A guy who's done it at a high level, at the college level and the NFL level. But I tell y'all this, Max and Jay. I grew up watching Steelers football. Played against the Steelers. The brand of football that I'm watching right now from that organization is not what I grew up on. It's not what I played against. Because I told Jay before we started the show, when I played against the Steelers, I used to have to get an extra day in the weight room then, just because I knew it was going to be a physical game. I remember one play, I caught a pass, and James Harrison, hold him up. Hold his ass up. That's what he said. I immediately said, no, let me get down. Because I know what that meant. Hold them up. They trying to take my head off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? But that brand of football, that physicality that you're used to seeing from that organization from start until, I say, about 2 years ago, you don't see anymore. So people aren't scared to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, okay, we just go in there. And then their back end. Their back end aren't good. Linebackers aren't scraping the right way. D-line, guys are out of their gaps.
So when so many different position groups are underperforming, but more than that, not playing with that thing that you expect Steelers players to play with, right? Well, naturally, some people are going to think when Mike Tomlin talked about potentially benching players, they're going to think, wait, is this just about the players? And he was asked that question.
You also had Marcus Allen out there. Was that kind of
Same. We will not be bashful about turning the stones over.
When you say not be bashful, does that extend to the coaching staff at this point?
What do you mean?
I mean, do you make any?
Coach hadn't made a play, sustained a block, made a tackle, and I know I hadn't in a long time.
So I think that's a legitimate question to say, hold up, if you're overturning every stone, and Harry Douglas, you just said, sitting in for Keyshawn today on Keyshawn J. Willimax, ESPN Radio, you just said, but you mentioned all the different
Either I'm coaching it or I'm allowing it to happen. So either it's being coached that way or they're allowing it to happen.
I'm just going back to this team has been dominated by the run the whole year, guys. I mean, they ranked third to last in the league in what they allowed their opponents to rush. So last night, getting 242 yards in the ground from Minnesota, I wasn't shocked by that. I was shocked more so by the deficit that they were in by the first half, 23-0, and then to see their offense really survive, come through and open up the door for Big Ben. But I mean, there was one play last night. Well, there were a couple of plays last night by Chase Claypool that really just left me angry, and it left a lot of Steeler fans angry. When it's 4th and 1, and your team is on a drive, and you get the first down, and you want to celebrate the first down with 36 seconds left to go in the game, right on like your 40-yard line, and Minnesota player comes, knocks the ball off his hands. There's 15 seconds that go off the clock before they check the ball down. It's like 24 seconds, right? And then he wants to throw a temper tantrum to his own
that's
player
game right
about
there,
it.
potentially, yeah.
He already had issue in the first quarter where he got benched. We were talking about that too, Harry.
I want to touch on that wide receiver.
Come on,
group
man.
Because I said this last year. That wide receiver group is missing a veteran presence.
Facts.
Right? Somebody to get on these guys when they aren't doing the right thing, like Spike Lee taught us all in his movie. They're missing that. And you mentioned Chase Claypool. He had the personal foul early in the game. Right? And then he almost had that fumble, and luckily it got called back.
The missed block.
Then you had the missed block on a 3rd and short situation where you're coming down to block that guy, and you missed that block. Worry about no damn music. They want music. It's
not Steelers culture. It's not the Steelers culture. That's the problem.
Music being
It's
played.
been that way with the wideout, with the number one wideout on that team for a minute now. AB, keep off social media as he's putting it, live streaming it on Facebook or whatever. Juju Smith-Schuster TikToking and this and that. Claypool, we need music and this. Now, it doesn't seem like Mike Tomlin lets it bother him because he shuts that down like when asked questions
Oh, no, it
about
bothers him. You saw it last night at the post presser. It bothers him, Max.
One thing about the Steelers, though, if you really look at it carefully, Tomlin took the job, run the ball, stop the run, Steelers football. There have been many iterations of this team that have won in different ways. The thing about Tomlin, if you just try to reduce him to a certain kind of hard-nosed football coach, he has been he's adjusted as time's gone on. Throughout this run where he's never been under 500, he's had awful offensive lines. He's had bad defenses. He's played, 5 wideouts at times and tried to just match. He does what it takes to win, to try to peg it like he has a certain identity. So anyway, that from Mike Tomlin with Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Much more on the Vikings and Steelers, including where Justin Jefferson ranks in Harry's top 5 wide receivers list at 7 a.m. Eastern. Got to be up there, man. Keyshawn J. Willimax, ESPN Radio, ESPN2.